Making the Invisible Visible, Black Women 365 Days of the Year. Each day will spotlight a remarkable woman whose story has shaped Black, British or global diasporic history. Women whose achievements are too often overlooked. Through these daily short films, we create a living, breathing archive of leadership, creativity, resistance and legacy. Let's begin.
I'm Victoria Ogunsanya. I am an archivist by profession, but I'm also a thinker and observer of all things. I think I love to think about things. I love to seek things from new perspectives. So this could be either social commentary, this could be in the world of literature, in the world of art, in the world of music. And I really take time to actually understand different forms of creativity in life in general. And I think that it goes well with what I do because in archives, it's important to understand records and what their purposes are and what their functions are. And I feel like in archives and in life, as a thinker and as an observer, there's small acts of activism by holding space to discuss social issues and to discuss things that are happening around us. So yeah, that's who I am. I guess a monumental kind of moment would be actually me joining the British Library. I joined straight out of university, and so through chance, I was able to get a position at the library through an agency, working in the reading rooms behind the issue desk, and it really, really changed the course of my life, especially professionally. I've always gone to the library as a child. I would go to multiple libraries, and to now work in a library and see what happens behind the scenes. So the kind of services that libraries provide, the operations, um, how knowledge is shared, and through resources in different formats. I was like, yeah, I can actually, this is something I'm really interested in, and this is a really great career prospect for me. And I've been here almost, it feels like forever, about 14 years. I think 14 years off head. I've been here and I've kind of developed my career in this one space, but I've worked with different collections. I've worked with special collections, which then helped me gain the skills to actually pivot into archives, which is another kind of path that I didn't think I would take. But learning about the collections, learning about library services, you know, I was like, okay, archives actually, I like actually working with information. I like providing information. This is where I'm best suited. So yeah, so that was joining the library has definitely been one of my greatest moments. I had to really think about this question. But one thing that really came to me pretty much straight away is kind of living with grief. So I recently lost my mum, and she's someone who's dear to me. We had a really like close relationship, and people don't really talk about what happens after, like how you survive with grief, unless you've been through it. And one of the things that really changed was my perspective on life. I feel like my perspective on life has been forever altered. Grief has this way of just making things a lot clearer to the point where your future is now very much present, and just how fragile life can be. And this impacts everything. It impacts the way you wake up in the morning, it impacts your relationships with your friends and your loved ones, the way it impacts your career, it makes you really reflect on how your life has gotten to that point and what it is now that you want to do to move forward. I can actually relate to this in a work point of view because when my mom died, she left a lot of paperwork. People don't talk to you about the paperwork and the kind of personal archive that they leave behind. And so I've had to do some records management in my own personal life of my mum's kind of history and her own personal archive, and it makes you very, very conscious of what is it that you will now leave behind for your loved ones. And so I think, yeah, definitely grief is something that, you know, has definitely changed me. So I've started doing this thing. So when I turn 30, I always go away for my birthday as a restorative kind of period where I can reset. I can reflect on the year past and I could just rest. I think it's so important as you get older to make space for you to just decompress and not have to think about providing for others. So most of those trips are solo travel. Solo traveling 10/10 recommend. I think it's something that every adult should find the time to do. I think it teaches you personal growth because when you get to a point where you can enjoy your own company, I think there's a peace that you achieve. So I count my blessings every day. I take one win at a time. I don't take opinions of others too seriously. Because at the end of the day, you know your own capabilities. What people want to input, into your life is like, well, I can only do what I can do at this time, and I need the space and time to be able to build myself up, to be able to reach that other goalpost. But if I'm not there yet, anything other people say, it doesn't make any difference to me, if that makes sense. So take the time to be still and not rush things. If you're going to do something, do it properly the first time.
Thank you for joining us for today's story. Making the Invisible Visible is our commitment to ensuring that Black women's histories and contributions are recognised, valued and kept in daily circulation. Across 2026, we will continue to share these powerful narratives, 365 days of impact, brilliance and inspiration. Stay connected, join the conversation and help us champion the women whose journeys continue to shape our world. I'm MLitt and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for the next story.